Good morning, guys. This is teacher María Milagros. Today we are going to discuss our third lesson, which is subjects and predicates. In this case, simple and complete subjects and predicates. Let me project the presentation. Okay. So what would be the difference between these two phrases? We're singing loudly from their perches and all the birds in Mrs. Lorena's care. As you can see, the one on the left has a verb, in this case, a verb phrase, we're singing. And the one to the right does not contain a verb, but has many nouns. So just from looking at that, we can see that the one on the left is a predicate sentence fragment. And the one on the right is a subject sentence fragment because on the one in the left, we have the action, but we do not know who's performing the action or who the action is or who the verb is describing. And the one on the right has who or what could be performing an action, but we do not know what that action is. Okay, so the one on the left is a predicate and the one on the right is a subject. Let's go back to our definition of a sentence. We have reviewed this since day one, and we know that a sentence consists of a subject and a predicate, which together express a complete thought. Both subject and predicate may consist of more than one word. That is really important, okay? More than one word it may consist of. For example, if we have the 10-month-old baby crawled slowly on the floor, we have a long subject and a long predicate. However, if I took the last words from the predicate, remember that the predicate starts with the verb. In this case, the verb is crawled. So we could not have slowly on the floor and it would still make sense. The 10-month-old baby crawled. So the predicate could be just a verb, for instance. And in the case of the subject, we could have the baby crawled and it would still make sense. We do not need the description of the baby for the sentence to express a complete thought, okay? That is important. It could be long, it could be short, but it could still be a sentence. Let's discuss first complete subject and complete predicate. This is something that we started seeing on our previous lesson. Remember, on subjects, predicates, and sentence fragments. So you already know this, but we're going to add another label. In this case, a label of complete. So in these two sentences, the capable forests study forests closely, and foresters are guardians of the environment. We have that in bold. In Spanish, negritas, we have the subject. In this case, the capable foresters and foresters. Why? Because they are performing the actions in the predicate. Okay, so the complete subject includes all of the words in the subject of the sentence. And the complete predicate, in this case, what is underlined, includes all of the words in the predicate of the sentence. It's what we have been studying. And it starts, in this case, where? With the verb, remember. However, not all of the words in the subject or the predicate are of equal importance. And that is the new thing that we will be introducing today. Let's go to the next slide here. We're going to call this main part of the subject and the predicate as simple subject and simple predicate. The simple subject is the word or group of words in the complete subject that is most important. That's what it's called, the main word or group of words. This could usually be, in the case of the subject, for example, a noun. Remember that nouns are words that name person, places, things, ideas. For example, air, Tatiana, Venezuela, democracy. All those are nouns. And pronouns are words that take the place of one or more nouns. Remember that in English, we have a list that we have studied since forever, which is I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. Okay, That is the simple subject, the nucleus of the subject. In the case of the predicate, the simple predicate is the main word or group of words in the complete predicate. That is the most important word or group of words. The simple predicate is always the verb, a verb being a word that expresses an action or a state of being. This is an important difference, guys, because the predicate is always going to be the verb, the simple predicate, I mean. There is no way that an adverb or an adjective or a noun can be the simple predicate, only verbs. In the case of the subject, however, it could be a noun or it could be a pronoun. Okay, so be mindful of that. Let's continue. If we have these sentences, for example, we are going to identify the complete and simple subjects and predicates. The complete subject is all in bold. However, a part of the of the complete subject is a simple subject, and that is why it is also in bold, but in a different color, so you would know how to identify it. And the same happens with the predicate. The complete predicate is underlined, but the simple predicate, I put it in another color. It is still part of the complete predicate, but just for you to know where the simple predicate is. So we have the first sentence. The little children happily went to the beach. We could say, okay, happily could be part of the subject because it goes before the verb. But remember that the subject only includes the who or the what performing the action. In this case, is the verb to go in the past tense, went. If we ask the verb, who went to the beach? The little children. Happily is not part of that. So we have our simple predicate, which is the verb, went. We have our complete predicate, happily went to the beach. And then we have our complete subject, the little children. However, remember that we discussed that the simple subject is either a noun or a pronoun. What is the only noun in that subject? Children. So the simple subject is children. In the case of the second sentence, people change their environment. We see that the subject only has one word. However, we could say, oh, that is the complete subject, but not the simple subject. And that is not the case. When the subject or the predicate only consists of one word, that word is both the complete subject and the simple subject. If it only had one verb, for example, if it said people change, and that's it, change would be both, again, the simple predicate and the complete predicate. Important. Now, why do we say that change their environment is the complete predicate? Because it starts with the verb. Okay? Change, and from then on, predicate. And who changed their environment? People. So people is the complete and simple subject at the same time. In the third case, we have the old car was painted a bright cherry red. Where is the verb? That's the first thing we need to do. Where is the verb? The verb is was, past tense of the verb to be. So we grab it, and until the end, that's a complete predicate. And we already know the simple predicate because we identified the verb, was. So what we have left is the subject. So we have the old car. What word in the old car is a pronoun or a noun? Car, okay? So car would be the simple subject because it's the noun within the complete subject. I hope this is clear. We go to the next slide. This is a practice. It's identifying the complete subject and the complete predicate for you to do it on your notebooks, as I later write in the PowerPoint presentation that it's already uploaded to Academia. All you have to do is put in bold the complete subject and the complete predicate, underline it. In this case, these are the answers. The only thing that I need to comment here is that you may think that for many decades and yesterday are part of the subject because they are next to the words that are actually signaled as the subject and are before the verb. However, remember, as I've told you many times in class, then when a phrase answers the question when, it is part of the predicate because it's not describing the subject, it's describing the verb. Okay, when did students from all over the world have warned about the climate change? For many decades. If it gives you an indication of time, such as when did the students review the Paleolithic age in science class? Yesterday. If a phrase answers when or where or how, it is describing the predicate, I mean the simple predicate, and thus is part of the complete predicate. Important. That is a tricky aspect, but since I've repeated it long enough, it's going for the test. Okay, so be aware of that. And in this case, it's the same thing, identifying the simple subject and the simple predicate. Remember that the simple subject is the main noun or pronoun in the subject, and the simple predicate will always be the verb of the sentence. Okay, so you have the answers here. And this is what you need to do. Copy the theory in your notebook and then review as the exercises in slides 9 and 11. What you need to do is solve them so you can practice for the test. And then you compare your answers to the next slides to see if you had them right. If you need to fix anything, please do. But this will serve as practice for the test that we will have next Tuesday. I think it's October 27. Let me check. Yes, October 27. Our test in our class hour. Remember that if you have any questions, you can contact me via Academia. Hope you have a very, very good day.